Okay, I'm going to start giving you the information to be able to write up that Pendulum lab. I know some of you already have, and you may want to adjust it after I submit these videos to you. First thing I want to do is it'll be like a help with Vernier analysis if you're using a graphical analysis, if you're using it. Oops. And I'm going to use some data from a student 4 or 5 years ago just to give you some heads up on some issues with graphical analysis. I went too fast. If you didn't notice a second ago, I clicked on manual entry. Make sure you do that. If you click out on the screen to get rid of that, then there's some functionality here that'll you'll have to change. It'll sort of booger it up. It has weird defaults when you do that. So this is just like a blank canvas. Notice it has X and Y because that's what's up here. If you click on the 3 little dots, go to column options. What I'm going to want here is, we'll just do the mass one first. And this is in kilograms. Y'all, it's fine if it's in grams, it doesn't matter, as we'll see. And then this one was the period in seconds. Okay, so I'm just going to generate data from a student that I had a while back. Okay, so you look at this and it's a mess. I mean, you think, if I ask you, okay, what's the relationship between period and mass? You'd say, well, it's just crazy. It's like erratic. It just goes up and down, up and down. But what I want you to notice, first of all, when you look at these periods over here, that's 1.86 seconds. Now, I don't know how you measured the time for the 5 uh, oscillations, the 5 back and forths. Whatever that time was, like say 7 seconds. When you divide it by 5, you get the period. Well, notice the student kept 5 total digits everywhere. If you were using your cell phone and timing those, like I let go and you hit start and then you stopped it when it made it back to my hand after 5 swings, your cell phone will measure down to this digit, this 100th digit. But your human reaction time is more than 1/10 of a second. It's like 0.16, 0.15. So even if you divided that by 5 for the 5 trials, you're still going to be off in this decimal place by a factor, not a factor, but an amount of 3/300ths of a second. So this could be 1.89, 1.83. Likewise here, this could be 1.82. So what I'm saying is this 4th digit really doesn't matter. And it even gets a little into this digit, if you think about it, because our human reaction time is 0.15. So what I'm saying is really technically all these round to about 1.8, maybe 1.9. So as you look at this the graph that it produced, notice what it did. This aggravates me that it does this. Notice the bottom spot is the lowest number. So what we can do to make this data where we can actually see the results better, or the actual relationship, is we can go in to the graph options and say, okay, I want to see, let's do this, say always show 0. And and we'll do the same thing with the y-axis. Always show 0. Now we have a better representation of what's going on. Also, while we're here, we could add a title. It's always what's on the vertical axis versus what's on the horizontal axis. And now let's look at it. Now, did I type something wrong? No, did okay. These two are just really close. But notice that's just pretty much flat within the amount of uncertainty that I said. Notice these numbers range. Let me go in and change the y options to be about 3. That's a little better. That puts it down in the middle. Notice that all of these vary between 1.8 and 1.9, which is within human uncertainty. So let's do a best fit line. So we want to do apply curve fit, and it should be linear, and apply. So notice what this does when you do that. It gives you some information about this line. It gives you a slope, and it gives you a y-intercept. Notice the y-intercept is right in the middle of these numbers. And the slope is 0.2, which would mean that it's probably within the uncertainty of our measurement ability. So technically the slope is practically 0. And you can look at it, it's practically 0. Look there. But that would be seconds per kilogram. If y'all did it in grams, it may even be a lower number. So what this is telling us is that the mass really doesn't have an effect on the period. Within the uncertainty of our ability to measure, there's no uncertainty. So what I wanted you to learn from this is that there's no connection between period and mass. You would think the more mass, the slower the period, or the longer the period, but it just doesn't work out that way. No matter what was done to the mass, it was practically the same period of 1.8 seconds or so, 1.9. All right, so I wanted you to learn from this how to adjust this scale. You always want 0, 0 down here. That way you can see the y-intercept in case it has any meaning. In this case, it does. The y-intercept tells us that the period is 1.8 no matter what we do to the mass. And then you can get the technical information from here. Okay, so I'm going to see, I may leave that up. Let me see if I can find data for, I don't know if it'll let me do this. It was messed up earlier. I want data for maybe this will get it. Let's see what this is. Okay, this will give me some data to put in there to show you what's going on. By the way, if you do the amplitude in the period, you're going to get the same graph, or you should have. Okay, so I'm going to change this now. I'm going to get rid of this. Let's see. Change this to length, and we'll do that in meters. And let's get rid of this best fit line. So the length 0.22, 0.933. Now this is data from students again a while back, so that won't necessarily match your data at all. Okay, so this is, I need to change the title. And I'm going to leave this default but always showing 0. Now, when you look at this, it looks linear. I mean, look at that. If we do a best fit line, let's see, you get what looks like a decent fit. R factor, point, if you've had statistics, you know what that means, that looks really linear. You get a slope of 0.64, no, I'm sorry, y-intercept of 0.64 or 0.65, and a slope of 1.4. So if you were going to write the equation of this line right here, you would write, you would replace this y right here with t, capital T for period. You'd put this slope of 1.5, let's say 1.5 seconds per meter in for the slope. And on the x, you'd replace that with L for length. And then you have plus 0.65 seconds. So I want you to think about that. Period equals 1.5 seconds per meter times the length plus 0.65 seconds. So that would predict a pendulum with 0 length would have a period of over a half a second, 0.65 seconds. If it has 0 length, it's going to have 0 period. Because it's going to, think about it as it shrinks. It's going to move so fast that the period is going to get closer and closer to 0. With 0 length, it would have 0 period. So that's a bad prediction of this mathematical model here, this line of best fit. Also, if you stuck in 3 meters in for the length, you get a period that comes out off over a second. I've done it in class. So this best fit line is not a good prediction or a good mathematical model because it doesn't make good predictions when the length is 0 or when the length is considerably longer than this maximum value that they have down here of 0.97. So I don't want to do a linear fit. So I think, okay, well, could I be not seeing something here? You know, could this be like a curve, you know, that's looking like this, like a side opening parabola? And once you see that, you say, well, yeah, it could be, especially if this point was down a little lower. So when you look at that chart at the back of the experimental design packet that I gave you, it would tell you to linearize this data, you would square what's on the y-axis. So I want to do that. I want to create a graph where I square what's on the y-axis, periods on the y-axis. So I want to add a calculated column. I'm going to let it do it for me. And I want this to be period squared. And I really wish this thing would do the superscripts, but it doesn't. So I just put second squared. And now I want to do this one up here. Now I'll have to have change this to period, and this will be 1, and that'd be 2. So, and it does it, period. I don't know why it defaults to 1. Why would you ever want to raise anything to the 1 power? All right, so that's period squared. Now, it assumed I wanted to use it. Sometimes it doesn't do that. If it doesn't do it, you just have to click on it and say, choose the period squared. Now notice, that doesn't look a whole lot more linear, but when we do a best fit line of this one, notice what it does. It gives us a y-intercept that's almost 0, 0.18. That's within the uncertainty of our measurements. And then it gives us a whole different slope, 4.49. So if we plug into this equation, t squared for y, because period squared, the symbol we use for period is capital T. So we have t squared equals 4.49 seconds squared per meter times L, and then we would just ignore the y-intercept because it's practically 0. That makes good predictions. If you stick in 0, you get a period of 0. If you stick in like 3 meters here, you're going to get really close to the value of the period that you would think you would get. So this model makes a lot better predictions. Okay, but I want to show you how to use this functionality on graphical analysis. Also, if you're going to use this graph in your lab, you would need to change the title to period squared versus length. Okay, and then you could just, if you're using a Windows computer, you can use the snippet tool and just snip this graph right out of here and paste it right into your lab report, print it out. You could even, if you want just the data table, you can go right here and say table and just snip this data table out, put it in there. You probably don't want to click on the 3 dots for extra data set. I can't ever get rid of those once they're in there. But hopefully this gives you a head up on this lab. The next video I'm going to show you will be how to write this lab up. Okay, so let me stop sharing and